They're linked closely, the digitization and the scalability. So you ask 10 different people what their definition of automation is, you're going to get 10 different answers, right? But the one thing you will get that is similar is the ability to scale. Right now, what's hindering the field is not being able to scale out and treat enough patients, and some of that is labor and touch points and processes, and the best way to reduce that is take the paper out of the process, right? Go to an electronic system, electronic batch record, electronic SOPs, and when to do that, right? Doing it earlier, most people would believe, is better, because then your ability to scale is, and tech transfer, if you want to look at taking your process to, globally, being able to do that quickly, the digitization piece of that is critical. The challenge has been the low adoption rate of putting in the electronic features to all of those, and mainly because it comes back to a staff and a learning process, because you're getting people primarily that aren't used to that, using those electronic features. So, and then the regulatory environment's not requiring it, right? But eventually all of that's going to catch up to each other, and they're going to come to a head where the regulatories are going to be pushing for that digitization, because paper is difficult on them too, and to evaluate when they're looking at trials and setting up those parameter and characteristics within a trial, within a process, but then making sure that the workforce can, again, be trained to, and there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just following a form when you're looking at digitization, whether it's an SOP or whatever, there's calculations, the digitization piece of that takes out some of that human error. Right, so when you're doing calculations, when you're following procedures, it's going to really advance the field once we get over this low adoption rate. That's kind of the gloomy cloud that hangs over the whole piece. I think the fragmentation really is in two pieces right now. It's aligning the equipment to make sure that the equipment sends the information that can be captured into the batch record, and making sure that we're developing equipment. Vendors are making equipment that send out meaningful data that can not only be used to capture the process within that batch, but also we use AI to collect all that data, and from that data do data mining to see what can benefit the process moving forward. And once those two converge, so bioreactors are a good example, and one of ours is the Zuri or Wave W25. It sends out a lot of data, right? You don't necessarily need to use all that data from an AI feature, but it may be important when you're collecting the batch record. So, and then when you're in an autologous setting where you have so many of these batches going on at once, and again, with the labor shortage and the technical staff shortage we have, there's just not enough time in the day to be able to advance those, right? So it's and that's what's been part of the low adoption rate. But really, the small biotechs that want to get out quickly and do those trials and globalize, you see them focusing more in on that aspect to make sure that they're starting early when it comes to digitization, because they know at the end it's going to make their process and their therapy more scalable.